everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlene, and today we're doing something a little different, and you may also notice that this video is up a day earlier than it normally is. So with Anne from In Search of Wonder and I hosting a Jane Austen read-along for the entire year to celebrate Jane Austen's 250th birthday this year in December, we decided to go ahead and do some extra videos on at least some of the months. There's going to be different things we're doing each month, but there will be some months where we are going to post an extra Jane Austen themed video. And for this month, we decided to ask each other questions, me asking her questions that she can answer as someone who has read a lot of Jane Austen, and her asking me questions as a Jane Austen newbie. So if you want to see the questions that I had for her, I will have a link to her video down in the description below, and you can go check that out. But in this video, I'm going to be answering the questions that she had for me. And unlike normal, I'm not having coffee while I'm filming this video. I thought tea seemed more appropriate for a Jane Austen video. So any of the extra Jane Austen videos that I filmed this year, I'm going to have tea with me instead of coffee, because I do drink both. But I named my channel Coffee and a Book, so normally I have coffee. So the tea that I'm drinking today is this Rooibos Pecan Turtle Tea from Adagio. And this is kind of my go-to comfort tea right now. I'm really enjoying it. I've only bought it one other time, and this time I made sure to buy the bigger package because it went way too fast last time. But some of the main flavors in it are apple pieces, cocoa, cinnamon, dark chocolate chips, and pecan flavoring. Like I said, this is kind of my go-to comfort drink right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I will have a link to the tea down in the description below if you want to try it for yourself, but let's go ahead and get into the questions. So Anne's first question is, what have you read by Jane Austen so far, and what made you pick it up? And I'll be going into more detail on this next month, because we will have an extra video next month, and we're mostly going to be talking about what we've read by Jane Austen and what we thought about it. But the only Jane Austen book I have read in full so far is Pride and Prejudice. And what made me pick it up? I had a bind up of her novels from Barnes & Noble. I don't have it anymore, obviously, because I went and bought all of the novels that we're going to be reading this year. Well, all of them except for Lady Susan. I haven't bought that one yet. But I did have a bind up. And I started to read them in publication order. So I was going to start with Sense and Sensibility. However, I got really confused with who was who and trying to keep things straight. So I decided to put that one down and pick up Pride and Prejudice instead, because it seems to be a fan favorite. And I figured if I couldn't get through Pride and Prejudice, then Jane Austen probably wasn't for me. I did read it. I enjoyed it well enough. I'll go into more detail on exactly how I felt about that book next month, but the main reasons I picked it up was I had a bind up of her novels, and I wanted to at least try them, and when Sense and Sensibility didn't work, I decided to try the fan favorite instead. The second question she had for me is, what were your expectations going into your first Jane Austen novel, and were those expectations met? And I don't know for sure what expectations I had. I know a lot of people like Jane Austen, so I at least went in with the expectation that I would enjoy it too. I know I had heard some about the humor that she included in the books, so I probably expected some of that. I'm not sure, other than that, what I really expected. The main thing I remember thinking about going into the book was the scene in You've Got Mail, where Kathleen Kelly is talking about how much she loves Pride and Prejudice, and Joe Fox is trying to read it and is struggling. And I was kind of wondering, which end of the spectrum am I going to be on by the time I finish the novel? Am I going to be a Kathleen Kelly, or am I going to be a Joe Fox? And were my expectations met? I would say for the most part. I've realized it's hard to figure out how to talk about this when I'm going to go into it in more detail next month. But I will say I found some of the humor in there, but I've come to appreciate the humor more since reading the book. And I would say as far as the Kathleen Kelly, Joe Fox, I fell probably somewhere in the middle. A little bit more towards Kathleen Kelly, but somewhere in the middle. Then Anne's third question was, which book are you looking most forward to reading, and which one are you looking forward to the least? And the one that I am looking forward to the most is, oddly enough, because it is not typically a fan favorite, is Northanger Abbey. Now, I have read a graphic novel adaptation of this one, and I loved the story, 100%. I did go into that one with slightly wrong expectations. I knew it was related to the Gothic genre, but I went into it thinking it was a Gothic novel, not more so poking fun at the Gothic genre, or at least the mindset people can have if they read a lot of Gothic novels. I wasn't expecting the outcome that happened, and ever since I read the graphic novel, I've wanted to read the actual novel because I think I would probably enjoy it more now knowing what I'm actually getting into. But even still, I really enjoyed the story, so that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. The one I'm probably looking forward to the least is another one that I feel like is very polarizing. Some people, it's their absolute favorite, and some people don't really care for it, but that's Emma. And I've read 2 adaptations of Emma. One is a modern adaptation, and one was a graphic novel. And I didn't care for either one of them. So that's the one that I'm looking forward to the least because I just have a feeling I may not enjoy that one. It's possible I will enjoy it more when I read the actual novel, but we'll see. The next question has 2 parts, and the first part is, of the adaptations, the movie adaptations you have seen, which is your favorite? And the second one is, which adaptation do you want to see the most? So, of the adaptations I've seen, I would say the BBC miniseries of Pride and Prejudice is my favorite. Closely followed by the BBC's adaptation of Sense and Sensibility. I just absolutely loved the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice. I said when I read the book Pride and Prejudice that I fell somewhere between Kathleen Kelly and Joe Fox. Watching the BBC adaptation, I was 100% Kathleen Kelly. The one I want to see the most is probably the version of Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet. And as much as I love the BBC version, considering how much people love the Kate Winslet version, it makes me really curious to see that one. And then the last question is, make some predictions. What star rating do you think each of the books will get, and how do you think you will rank them when you're done with them? And she did also note that this would probably be a really fun one to compare to when we get to December, and I've actually read all of the books. So I went over them in publication order, and this is just a guess. I don't know for sure. Potentially, I'm leaning towards, I think Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice could both be 5-star reads. Mansfield Park is next, and that one I went ahead and said 4 stars because of all of the books we're going to be reading. That one and Lady Susan, I know absolutely nothing about. The rest I at least know something. Those 2 I know nothing, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt and I'm saying 4 stars. For Emma, I'm saying 3 because, like I said, I haven't liked the other adaptations I've read, so I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the actual novel either. Northanger Abbey, I also listed at 5 stars because I think it does have the potential to be a 5-star read for me. Persuasion, I'm also giving the benefit of the doubt and saying 4 stars. I know a little bit about it, but not a lot. And then Lady Susan, I also have at a 3-star because I feel like I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that one. Some people like it, some people really don't. So I'm just going with 3-star because I really have no idea if it's one I would enjoy or not. So then as far as ranking, it could be a toss-up between the 3 I'm predicting will get 5 stars, but I went ahead and listed Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Northanger Abbey in that order. As much as I think I'm going to like Northanger Abbey, I'm almost afraid to say it's going to get the top spot because I do already know the stories of Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility so well. So I went ahead and listed those first and Northanger Abbey third. Then I have Mansfield Park fourth. Again, trying to give this one the benefit of the doubt because I know nothing about it. and then Persuasion 5th, Emma 6th, and Lady Susan 7th. And again, because of the mixed reviews with Lady Susan, I just feel like there's a good chance that that one could be my least favorite. It could be Emma, but it could be Lady Susan. So that's the order I'm going with. Obviously, I have no idea, and I could be completely off base with all of this. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, so those were all of the questions that Anne had for me. Again, if you want to see the questions I had for her and her answers to them, I will have her video linked down in the description below. I will also have a link to our graphic for this Jane Austen read-along, so you can see which books we're planning to read in which months. Sorry, I forgot that I didn't grab my book. But the book that we will be reading in February is Sense and Sensibility, which is the first book that she ever published. And I detest trying to say this title. That is too many S's. And as many times as I had to say that because of the adaptations I was talking about, I'm getting tired of S's. But yes, this is the first Jane Austen book that we're going to be reading together. I will also have a link to Anne's Discord down in the description. That's where we're going to be having all of our discussions throughout the year. So if you want to join in on those, that is where you can join in and be part of the conversation. If there's anything else that I've forgotten to mention, I'll have it down in the description. I feel like there's a lot with this one because it's going for the whole year. So I may have forgotten something. And if I did, I apologize. But I think that is all I have for you guys for today. If there are any of these questions that Anne asked me that you would like to answer, feel free to answer them down in the description below. Let me know if you are planning on joining us in February to read Sense and Sensibility together. I've really got to stop saying that title or I'm going to keep butchering it. And other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day and I'll see you later.